All right, gather round, intrepid explorers of the human condition. It's me, Chanitam, and today we're diving deep into the crinkly, colorful, and often catastrophically misleading world of snacks. Yes, snacks. Those seemingly innocuous bites that see us through the afternoon slump or accompany our late-night Netflix binges. But what if I told you that lurking within those convenient packages is a secret saboteur, one that's not just messing with your waistline, but also with your mind, and even, dare I say, the economic vitality of your entire workplace? It's a big claim, I know, but stick with me. Before we unwrap this whole delicious and slightly terrifying mystery, let's start with a quick quiz. Picture this. You're feeling a bit meh, a bit blah, maybe even a touch despondent. Which of these lifts your mood fastest? That glistening glazed sugar bomb of a donut, a brightly colored fizzing neon energy drink, or say a humble, unassuming apple? Take a moment, really think about it. Got your answer? Okay, hold that thought because here comes the spoiler and it's a doozy. Two of them might be actively tanking your mental health. And if you're a business leader, your company's ROI. Yes, you heard that right. We're not just talking about a fleeting sugar rush followed by an inevitable crash. We're talking about a profound, scientifically backed connection between what we eat, specifically ultra-processed foods, and our risk of developing serious mood disorders like depression and anxiety. It's a connection that has huge implications not just for our personal well-being, but for productivity, healthcare costs, and the overall success of our communities and workplaces. So buckle up, because we're about to expose the shocking truth lurking in your snack drawer. So let's get right into the science, because the evidence here is, frankly, staggering. Imagine a massive review, spearheaded by researchers at Harvard. Yes, Harvard meticulously sifting through 37 different studies. What did they find? A consistent, troubling pattern: diets packed to the brim with ultra-processed foods, or UPFs, as the cool kids in white coats call them, significantly raise the risk of depression, anxiety, and even chronically poor sleep. We're talking about your packaged cookies, your instant noodles, your sugary cereals, those frozen pizzas, the stuff that makes up a surprisingly large portion of the modern diet. It turns out, convenience has a hidden cost, and our mental health might be picking up the tab. This isn't just a hunch, it's a robust finding across a vast body of research, painting a pretty clear picture of cause and effect. And if that broad overview isn't specific enough for you, let's zoom in on a particularly compelling piece of research. Consider a cohort study involving over 31,000 women in the United States. That's not a small sample size, that's a veritable city of participants. The researchers tracked their dietary habits and their mental health over time, and the results were stark. Women who were heavy consumers of ultra-processed foods, those who regularly reached for the quick, factory-made options, showed a jaw-dropping 49% higher odds of developing depression compared to those who ate the least. Let that sink in. Nearly a 50% increased risk. It's a direct statistical punch to the gut, or perhaps more accurately, to the brain, demonstrating that what's on our plate has a profound impact on what's going on in our heads. This isn't about shaming anyone for their food choices. Life is complicated, and sometimes a prepackaged meal is all you have the time or energy for. I get it, but it's about empowerment through knowledge. Understanding this link is the first step towards making more informed decisions, not just for ourselves, but for our families, our communities, and as we'll explore later, even for the economic health of our businesses. The connection is too strong to ignore, and the implications too vast. We're talking about a public health issue hiding in plain sight, disguised in brightly colored wrappers and tempting marketing slogans. The junk food leading to junk mood equation is becoming increasingly undeniable. So why? Why do these ultra-processed foods, these marvels of modern food engineering, seem to wage war on our well-being? The answer, like so many things in biology, is complex and fascinating, and it largely comes down to a bustling metropolis inside you, your gut microbiome. Trillions of tiny organisms call your digestive tract home, and they play a crucial role in, well, pretty much everything, including your mood. But diets high in sugar, an abundance of refined oils, and those mysterious emulsifiers and artificial additives found in UPFs, they're like a wrecking ball to this delicate ecosystem. They can wipe out beneficial gut bugs, the good guys who help keep things in balance, allowing less friendly microbes to proliferate. This microbial imbalance, often called dysbiosis, disrupts the critical communication pathway known as the gut-brain axis. Think of the gut-brain axis as a superhighway, constantly relaying messages between your digestive system and your central nervous system. When your gut microbiome is out of whack, that highway gets jammed, signals get crossed, and the brain doesn't receive the support it needs. Furthermore, these UPFs often trigger a state of chronic, low-grade inflammation throughout the body. This isn't the acute inflammation you get with a sprained ankle. It's a persistent, simmering irritation. And this systemic inflammation is bad news for your brain. It can directly lower the production of crucial mood-regulating neurochemicals like serotonin, often called the happy hormone, and brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, which is like Miracle-Gro for your brain cells, promoting growth, survival, and resilience. When serotonin and BDNF levels dip, it's like the lights dimming on your brain's ability to cope with stress and regulate emotion. And speaking of inflammation, sometimes the culprits are microscopic. Imagine a specific type of gut bacteria, let's call him Inflammobacter. This guy's cute under a microscope, all squiggly and interesting, until he and his buddies get overpopulated thanks to your diet and start contributing to inflammation that can even affect specific brain regions like the hippocampus, which is vital for memory and mood regulation. So yes, this guy's cute, until he inflames your hippocampus. It's a direct biological hit, turning your internal landscape from a flourishing garden into something a bit more barren. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Chineedum, this is all very interesting for my personal health, but what's it got to do with the bigger picture, like, say, my job or my business? And that, my friends, is where things get really interesting from an economic perspective. Because unhealthy eating, fueled by the prevalence of these ultra-processed mood muckers, isn't just a personal problem. It's a major driver of absenteeism and presenteeism. That's when people are physically at work but mentally checked out, unable to perform at their best. Think about it, if your brain is foggy, your mood is low, and your energy is sapped, are you really going to be firing on all cylinders? Probably not. Wellness economists, the brilliant folks who study the financial impact of health and well-being, have crunched the numbers, and their findings are compelling. They estimate that employees who maintain healthy eating habits and overall wellness are, on average, 3 times more productive than their less healthy counterparts. 3 times. That's a massive difference in output, innovation, and efficiency. Furthermore, companies that invest in promoting healthier lifestyles, including better nutrition, can see a significant reduction in absence-related costs, often to the tune of 25 to 30%. That's not chump change. That's a serious impact on the bottom line, freeing up resources that can be invested back into growth, development, or, more healthy snacks. So the conclusion here is pretty straightforward, yet profoundly impactful. When organizations make a conscious effort to swap out the vending machine poison, those sugary drinks, salty chips, and candy bars that offer a quick hit but a long-term deficit, for actual life-giving produce, nuts, and healthier options, the balance sheet starts to smile. It's a win-win. Employees feel better, perform better, and are more present and engaged, while the company benefits from increased productivity, reduced healthcare expenditure, and a more vibrant, energetic workforce. It's about recognizing that fueling your employees well is not an expense, but an investment in your most valuable asset, your people, and by extension, your company's future. All right, we've established the problem, we've delved into the biology, and we've even looked at the economic fallout. Now for the good part, what can we actually do about it? It's time for a mood food makeover, and I've got a 5-step plan that's both practical and powerful. First up, traffic light your pantry. This is all about awareness. Studies have shown that simple, clear labeling systems, think green for go, yellow for caution, red for rarely, can cut junk food purchases by as much as 25%. Imagine applying this to your own kitchen, or even encouraging it in workplace canteens. Suddenly, those less healthy choices become much more visible, prompting a pause and a potential switch to something better. It's about making the healthy choice the easy, obvious choice. Next, let's talk fiber first. Aim for at least 30 grams of fiber per day. Where do you find this magical stuff? Think beans, lentils, oats, whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. Fiber is incredible for your gut health. It feeds those beneficial microbes we talked about, helps regulate blood sugar, and keeps you feeling fuller for longer, reducing the temptation to reach for those ultra-processed snacks. It's a foundational element of a mood-boosting diet. Then embrace the ferment fix. Foods like yogurt with live cultures, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, and kombucha are packed with probiotics. These fermented heroes can significantly increase the diversity of your microbiome and have been shown to slash stress markers. Adding a little bit of fermented goodness to your daily routine can be a game changer for your gut, and consequently, your mind. Step 4 is the healthy snack vending revolution. If you have vending machines at work, or even if you're just stocking your home snack drawer, make a conscious swap. Ditch the candy bars and sugary sodas for nuts, seeds, dried fruit, whole grain crackers, and other nutrient-dense options. One study found that simply changing the offerings in vending machines cut the average calories purchased per item by a whopping 61%. Finally, and this is a big one for organizations, it's about policy power. Implement right to refuel breaks, ensuring employees have dedicated time to eat nourishing food. Consider subsidizing or providing whole food lunches. These policy changes can lead to a productivity uptick of around 15%. It's about creating an environment that supports, rather than sabotages, healthy eating. Now it's time for a quick Mythbuster moment, because there's a common misconception that often muddies the waters in this whole discussion. You've probably heard it, or maybe even thought it yourself. The idea that depression causes junk food binges, not the other way around. It's the classic chicken or the egg scenario, right? People feel down, so they reach for comfort food, which happens to be ultra-processed. It seems logical, and indeed there's some truth to the idea that low mood can trigger cravings for sugary, fatty foods. The relationship can certainly be bidirectional, a vicious cycle where feeling bad leads to eating poorly, which in turn makes you feel worse. However, and this is a crucial distinction backed by rigorous science, the arrow of causality isn't solely pointing in one direction. The fact is, compelling long-term cohort data studies that follow large groups of people over many years have shown that higher ultra-processed food intake predicted the later development of depression. This was even after researchers meticulously controlled for the participants' mood at the baseline of the study. So they accounted for whether people were already feeling down before they started observing their eating habits and subsequent mental health outcomes. This is incredibly important because it helps untangle that chicken and egg problem. What this tells us is that while feeling depressed might make you crave a bag of chips, regularly consuming that bag of chips and other UPFs can independently increase your risk of becoming depressed in the first place or worsening existing depressive symptoms. It's not just a consequence of depression, it's also a potential driver. This understanding shifts the narrative from one of passive response to one of active prevention and intervention. It empowers us to see food not just as a source of comfort in bad times, but as a powerful tool to build resilience and protect our mental well-being proactively. So, the myth? Busted. The food on your plate plays a starring causal role. So, there you have it. The not-so-sweet truth about ultra-processed foods and their profound impact on our mental health, our cognitive function, and even our economic productivity. It's a complex web, connecting our gut microbiome to our brain chemistry, our individual choices to our collective well-being. But the key takeaway isn't one of despair, it's one of profound opportunity. The power to influence our mood, to sharpen our minds, and to build a healthier, more productive society might just be waiting for us in the food we choose to eat every single day. It's about recognizing that nourishment is more than just calories. It's information for our bodies and brains. The journey from a junk mood to a joyful mind doesn't require a radical overnight overhaul. It can start with small, intentional shifts, swapping one processed snack for a piece of fruit, adding more fiber to your meals, or simply becoming more aware of what's in the food you're consuming. For those in leadership positions, it's about fostering environments that make healthy choices the easy choices. Because ultimately, your next mood boost might be hiding in the snack aisle, or more accurately, in the choice to bypass the usual suspects for something truly nourishing. Feed the mind, grow the ROI. It's a simple mantra with transformative potential. Thank you so much for joining me, Chinidum, on this deep dive into the world of mood and food. I hope this has given you some food for thought, pun absolutely intended. If you found this helpful or even just mildly interesting, please do all the YouTube things, like share, subscribe for more brain savvy bites on Mind Matters Y6T, and drop your favorite mood-friendly snack below. I'm always looking for new ideas. Until next time, eat well, think clearly, and be kind to your mind.